What's up, NDL? We are a week away from the draft, right around the corner from another season, but we still have to finish up the season that we're on. So, season 33, we're pretty close to the end, just waiting for a couple of bowl games and, of course, the championship game to get played. So, we'll talk about the experience of the outlier. We'll talk about the awards that we want to hand out for the G5 teams and players, and we'll just kind of go from there. So I am, of course, am one of your hosts, Sammy33, back from TwitchCon, refresh, ready to get back into it. My podcast partner, Coach Vic. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Fresh off a little Discord cleanse, after my bowl game. And I usually do that after a bowl game and after the season. Take a week or close to a week just to get off the Discord and just relax. And
Kind of
now we
nice.
back.
That is kind of nice. Like me not being in a bowl game, I've been doing this cleanse for a while now. So I've had much time to take a break and a much needed one too. So I am excited for season 34, but before we get there, we got to wrap up season 33. So the first thing that we must talk about is the outlier himself for this season. No way, Jose, going into battle against the reigning defending champ, Coach Bucknut, and man, that game was an interesting game. I actually got to watch the first half. I was supposed to be asleep because I needed to, get some sleep before work. I'm like, we're watching this. And man, you want to talk about being teased. It started out good and it just legitimately just no pulse after that. It fell flat. It was rough.
It definitely was rough. He got up to the 7-0 lead. Everybody was a buzzing in the chat. Everything was going wild. And then the kickoff return happened. And it was GG's after that.
Pretty much. I think for me, like I know people were joking. Let me explain something to you guys that are out there listening. I know it sounds crazy. It is totally possible to chat and play the game at the same time. One, we're playing football, so there's space in between plays, so you can type in between the actual play. I'm very sure that he wasn't typing while the kick return was happening. It's just with the delay that we see things happen, it appeared that way. But it's very possible. Like it's almost like one of those things that we've just gotten used to now. Just be the same thing as, texting someone on your phone while you're doing something. Um, but yeah, to me, the that game was over on the user pick six on the RPO. Man, that was such a clean pick too, and you knew, like we were talking about it, they need to get up early and then try to get a stop. Didn't even get a chance to get a stop. You go up 7-0. The kick return, give the ball back, get stop, have to punt, and then man, you're just trying to hang in there and just try to avoid the momentum and some of the things that you expected to happen were going to happen. Some errant passes, like, hey, you made the right read, but you're playing on the road. You have a lesser team, lesser quarterback. Some of those plays are going to happen. They're expected. But once you got that pick six, I'm like, yeah, I think this might be time to call it. I'm going to keep watching and keep my fingers crossed, but it just felt like all the momentum was zapped away at that point, and yeah, we're just you're just trying to finish the game. But still, all that said, a great season for Missouri State. No one's going to be able to top that. He's the first ever coach at this school, their first time being in the NDL, and they got a playoff appearance in year one. Like, how cool is that? 50 seasons down the line, we're
Right.
going to look back and see Missouri State started out with something that is almost impossible to do, taking a really bad team and getting to the playoffs in their first season in existence. That's super cool to have on your resume.
Greatest Missouri State coach of all time already.
Yep.
Greatest Missouri State coach of all time. There's no topping what he did at all. Um, like you said during the game, the pick six did do him in. Um, you was just having him hold on for dear life. And a wise man once said that dreams go to die in Death Valley. And Jose Dream died that night.
Yeah, sadly, but he can still hold his head high. But that does remind me, we were talking pre-show. You had a question that you wanted to pose, so let's go ahead and get that out there now. It's a perfect segue.
It is a perfect segue. My question is, do you feel like there will ever be a G5 team good enough to win a CFP game?
My answer is yes, but it's going to come with some caveats. So basically, I'm saying it's going to have to take a pretty close to perfect storm for it to happen. So there's a couple things that I look at in this situation. One, you have to avoid being the 12 seed because as you brought up, and I hadn't really thought about that. That's a really good point. If you're stuck at 12, you're playing five. That means you're probably playing one of, if we're going to say S tier coaches, you're probably getting one of those in a matchup at best in S minus. So the question to me is, can you avoid being the 12 seed? Because if you're facing one of those guys, you're facing an elite coach and an elite team. If you can get out of the 12 seed, and there's a couple of ways to go about doing this. One is it's going to need to be a team that has some, I would say, some real estate in the NDL. And what I'm thinking of is a coach like him at Washington State or Chip in the MAC. I feel like when the season starts and we, no, season 34 starts and we do our top 25 of the G5 teams, they're going to be either in the poll or very close to the poll. So they already have equity. Whereas someone like Missouri State came out of nowhere. So they had to just get into the poll just to begin. When it took so long for that to happen, understandably so, there's no real way for you to avoid being in the 12 spot. So that would be something that I think needs to happen. Two, and this is just really a bonus if you could get it. Some of the G5 teams that kind of skirt as a P4 team, that would be a team that needs to get in the playoffs. So I'm thinking Memphis. I'm thinking like just in terms of talent. I'm not even talking about just like the actual players themselves, but just thinking overall off the top of my head right now. Team like Boise State, you would need one of the better teams in the G5 pool on paper to get in. Obviously, that helps. And then the third part is who is your opponent? Because you're going to be playing on the road. You're not going to get a home game. Is it a coach that if you have the chance to keep it close going into the fourth quarter, they can possibly play down because of the pressure? Because remember, no one expects the G5 team to win ever. And even less so because we're on Heisman now. If you could get a coach that gets into the fourth quarter and starts to get a little shaky and could come down just a little bit to help you out, it's a lot of stuff that has to happen. But I think at some point it will. And we're going to get one. I just don't know if it's going to be on this year's game or hell, even on this generation cycle. But I think it's going to happen.
I do not think it's going to happen. And I do not think it's going to happen because to counteract or counterpoint what you said, it's going to take a lot of luck for that to happen. First, like you said, it has to be a coach that is a good to great coach with good to great talent as a G5. And then to counterpoint what you said, we did have a G5 be a home team, but it ended up being a lower level G5. And that was FAU in season 32. They did have the home game, but he had the home game and was the eighth seed because his conference was propped up. He had three other coaches go in the top 20 of season 33's draft, or would have went in the top 20 in the season 33 draft. One coach dropped off, but he had two and himself go in the top 20 of the season 33 draft. So his conference was propped up. So you need that. So you need that. You need to have winnable games in your non-conference. So that's a factor too, because that basically is what happened to the top G5 teams this season, is because they're non-conference. They took a loss, or they took a couple of losses in the non-conference, and then proceeded to cruise through the conference. App State is a perfect example of that. Um, then the third factor is, like I said, you have to, like FAU, you have to have a higher seed, because at this point, if you're the 12th seed in this iteration of the playoffs, see, last year's version of the playoffs would have been good, because you could be facing a lower ranked, Power Four team, or a lower ranked Power Four champion. But in this iteration, I feel like this season it happened, next season, and the season after, I feel like that 5 seed or that 6 seed is going to be an SEC team,
Uh,
and you're basically cooked like Missouri State if you're Missouri State going into Death Valley, or you going into Tuscaloosa, or Auburn, or Knoxville, or Athens, or any of those places. You're basically cooked, because you're gonna get the home field advantage issues that a team on the road usually has. It's not necessarily gonna be on you, but those passes that are normally complete because you got minimal crowd noise in the season is amplified times 200, and that quarterback is going to sell that pass, kind of like Missouri State against LSU. So team you're facing, your conference has to be propped up, and you have to beat very good people in your non-conference. Then possibly you have a chance, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I just need it to happen so we can make a trophy and get like we're gonna send you a trophy,
I want it to
UPS it,
happen. I definitely
and
want it
do
to
it.
happen.
Like you literally are the first true outlier in the NDL, and you like we would have to do that for sure. I'm
Yeah,
down for that. I just
I
don't know
will.
who could. I just don't know when it'll happen. The odds are at some point it has to
We,
happen. I just don't
we
know
can
though.
definitely, me and you both can definitely put up the money for an actual trophy to send it to that person and call them the true outlier. I am down for that, because I want to see it happen, because some people know in the chat, I'm a gambler. So I always love the upset. I always love the upset. So me saying it won't happen, it's not saying it because that's how I feel. It's just logical. It's just a logical explanation. I want it to happen, but I just don't see it happen.
Totally understand. Well, we'll definitely, obviously, we will have to watch it. I mean, that's what we do. So we're gonna watch that going forward. But before we get into the some of the bowl games that we found interesting, we have our own awards to give out, the Outies for the G5 teams, and we had a couple of categories that we wanted to break it down into. So this originally was your idea last season, so I will let you lead the way.
All right. This is the second annual Outies, where we recognize some of the coaches, players, and teams and game that were spectacular in the G5 this season. And the first award is Head Coach of the Year.
Well, I'll let you go first. I will follow your lead, sir.
Head Coach of the Year is obviously the outlier of this season, which is Coach No Way Jose. out of Missouri State, like we already talked about. No need to go long version of explaining, but basically the greatest Missouri State coach ever.
Yeah,
So
it's
he's
gonna be
my
hard to
head
top.
coach of the year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard one to top. I want the same on this one for a lot of the reasons that we just talked about. For it, and especially for it to be his first season in the NDL too. So really great start to his NDL career, and we'll be looking forward to seeing what he does next in the future.
He did so great. I'd be forgetting that this was his first season. Like he did so great. I was like, this is first season, right? Yeah. Oh, well. Look forward to what he's doing next season. The second award is Offensive Player of the Year, and I have Zevi Ikakis, the quarterback from Washington State. Now, if I did pronounce that wrong, I do apologize, but I tried to get it as close as I can. He was top 10 in passing yards and passing touchdowns, led Washington State to another 10-win season, and was top five in the Heisman all year.
Yeah, hard to argue with that one. I tried to find someone different just to give someone else some love here, and I did. I went with the running back for Tulsa, Dominic Richardson. He had over 2,000 yards from scrimmage, 1764 on the ground, and he had 28 touchdowns. So I know he wasn't able to get the win against Jokers in the conference championship game. He did lose a close battle, but Richardson had a great season from start to finish and was very instrumental in Tulsa making it to where they did this year and wanted to show him some love. Go running backs.
Definitely shout out to Dominic Richardson there in Tulsa. Let's see. The next award is Defensive Player of the Year. And I have JJ O'Neal, safety from Missouri State. He had 107 total tackles. He had two tackles for loss, led the NDL in interceptions with 18. Also had a fumble, forced fumble, and fumble recovery that was returned for a touchdown. He had a overall great year this season.
He did. And it's so great that I couldn't really find anyone else to try to argue to have as a co-award winner. So having over 100 tackles, 18 interceptions. I mean, he had more interceptions than I had my whole season with FSU. So I mean, that is crazy. I'm sure with some of the teams that I've seen watching with how they've just been giving up passing yards and passing touchdowns, we wish we had an O'Neal on our team. 18 picks is crazy. Crazy that he still kept finding ways to be around the ball. So kudos to him. And yeah, as to me, it was a clear runaway.
If I had if I had O'Neal on my team, oh my.
Yeah,
but but I did not. So but great season to him. Kudos to him. Hopefully the next user or try to make it back to back for him for that award. The next award that we have on the table is Game of the Year. G5 Game of the Year. It could be a G5 Power Four. The G5 either came close or pulled the upset, or G5 versus G5 game. My game, chat loved it. The live loved it. Everybody loved it. Opening weekend, Beer Cop, Coach Beer Cop in Colorado State getting the ultra dramatic win against NTX in Miami, Ohio for the first week of the season. That game had it all. It had boneheaded plays. It had smart plays. It had turnovers. It had almost turnovers. It had clutch moments around. The drama behind that game, I felt couldn't be touched for the rest of the season. What say you? What's your game of the year?
Well, I have to laugh first. I was trying to stifle the laugh because as soon as you said it, NTX is in the chat right now. It's like everybody didn't love it. What a crying emoji. So I was trying not to laugh while you were talking. Um, yeah, I remember. That was a very interesting. Man, that was so fun being in chat with RB during the opening weekend of the NDL. Just the games on and just people, some people getting in the chat speaking on their dreadful experience. I remember that fondly. And just kind of, the league getting together and us sitting around is kind of cool. Like makes you think back in college, just everyone huddled around a TV in the dorm, seeing what's going on.
it
So
it
good
was
time.
it was lit it was literally what a real life college football red zone would be. It literally was. I loved every minute of that weekend.
It was fun for sure. And I also picked a game from there. It was a really tough one because I honestly was probably juggling six different games. But the one that I settled on was Central Michigan at Washington, or sorry, Washington State. That would have been a good one too. But Central Michigan and Michigan State, the battle for Michigan that we didn't know was the battle for Michigan.
For
Um,
sure. For
Given
sure.
where we saw Michigan State finish in the rankings for the season, and it's always weird because when you play at the beginning, like it was our first game, like actual NDL game, regular season game on this game cycle. So you still are people are still trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. We're switching to Heisman, what works, what doesn't work. And for Chip to go on the road to Michigan State, not just that he won the game, but the drama at the end, where it looked like Michigan State had a chance to put the game away, maybe they got start getting some momentum, and to see him with the hit stick force a fumble on first and goal, didn't recover it, shake it off and come right back and lay another one on second and goal and get the ball. Bro, especially with some of the limitations that I feel Chip would like to have been better running the ball because he likes to run, and it was a struggle early on for him to find a way to win that game on the road against a team that was ranked in the top 15 CFP. Pretty cool, and especially that it was a close game. Really, really fun to see a G5 team get a road win against a power school.
Definitely. Definitely. It knocked him out of the playoffs. It truly did. As a committee member this season, if he would have beaten him in that game, CG would have made the CFP. That truly knocked him out of the playoffs.
I'm sorry, CG, we still love you.
Still love you, man. The next award is up and coming coach of the season or of the year, however you want to title it. This award is special because this is highlighting a coach that may not get highlighted too much during the season, but definitely had an excellent season in the G5 and will move up to a P4 next season. And will also, and we predict that they will also do well as well. My pick for that is Nadog, the coach of Akron. Love how he plays. I've mentioned him a lot this season. I love how he plays. We've played together in a few different, aspects of the NDL. I love playing him each and every time. He plays the right way, in my opinion. Doesn't be too over dramatic or anything like that with the play calling. And it's just fun playing him. And I feel like when he does go into the draft and he gets someone in the Power Four, he's gonna win at least 9 games. I know that's a lofty expectation, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah, he should be getting a pretty good pick with the season that he had too. So you're gonna get a good G5 team, or sorry, good P4 team.
Definitely.
Oh, for me, I'm going with Coach Jordan at Ohio. Oh, he went 8-5. He won his bowl game, and he got off to a rough start. Um, Man, the game against Texas Tech lost by 33. That's a tough one. SDSU, go Aztecs. He lost by 31, and those were both at home. It's like, man, rough start, but then he was able to start pulling it together once he got into conference play. Overall, a really solid season. I like his gameplay as well. I've got to see about half of his games, like the play style. Pretty mellow and cool guy in chat, so very likable. And I think regardless of what conference he goes to in the P4, he's going to get a solid team, and you should be very cautious if he is on your schedule. The offense, pretty good. He runs the ball well. Defensively, and Ohio's not the greatest team. We know that with a lot of G4 teams, especially on that side of the ball. But he did have a guy in double digits with interceptions and was able to get some pressure. I would like to see what he can do with having a better defense. So I definitely look for him to go somewhere and have a really solid season next season.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I feel like he's gonna get a team that he's gonna be comfortable with and have a good season as well.
Well, a pretty quick run through the awards. Congrats to the winners. Looking forward to seeing what you guys do next season and for the players in specific, if the next coach can follow in the footsteps and perform as well. But there are some other things we need to talk about because unfortunately, we're still waiting for the season. I know. It was talked about earlier today. I was around when that chat happened. There's still a couple of bowl games that need to be played, but there were a chunk of games in the G5, or at least with G5 teams, that Vic and I found interesting, and we wanted to give a quick run through on the ones that we saw. So I'll let you start first, sir.
My first shout out is to Brady, Coach Brady in App State. I have, even though I tuned on late, and even though I doubted them at first, I am a late bloomer when it comes to him as a coach. But I will admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong about him and his ground and pound. Man, it works. It works. It just works. Like that ground and pound that he had with App State. I really hope he keeps App State. Like it's that good. Like I really, really hope he does keep that. And he kept Coach Weasel under control. Got a few turnovers and basically controlled the game throughout. Like I watched the whole game, and he basically controlled it throughout. It was little bits and pieces here where Weasel could have got back in it, but that ground and pound in the end just ran over Middle Tennessee State, and he got the win, and it was a convincing win at that.
Yeah, that to have two running backs that productive is just really terrifying because you're usually I feel most of the teams that have great run games, it's one solo back. So you can try to scheme him out the game, or you just absorb the touches and you deal with the backup who could still be good, but isn't on that
But
level.
it's not only that; it's the fact that it's two backs and that tight end. That tight end is a menace in the pass game because you never know when he's going to get used.
Yeah, it is. It is tough sledding against that running attack for sure. Like you feel like you have to like fully lean into stopping the run, and that's where he starts to beat you, getting behind the linebackers, and man, he makes it tough for that secondary for sure. One game that I wanted to highlight that I found very interesting. I didn't get to see as much of it as I would have liked, but the Idaho Potato Bowl, Nevada and Central Michigan. Central Michigan coming off of a tough loss in the MAC championship game, but also a win against Washington State. And then Nevada, we were talking about this last episode. Like, man, it looked like he was going to kind of go into cruise control, to the Mountain West Championship game, and then two late losses leaves him on the outside looking in. So how, like, what version would we see in the bowl game? A pretty good version, I would say. He gets the win 48 to 37, 35 points in the first half by Nevada. The offense was clicking both in the air and on the ground. Chip got behind early, and Nevada in the second half did enough to hold off Central Michigan and get the dub. A really fun game with two great coaches.
I would love to see them run it back next season.
Would
That
be
was a good
fun.
game. I would love to. That would be fun to see them run it back next season. The next game I would like to talk about is uh, the effort or the game between East Carolina and Cincinnati. East Carolina put up a heck of an effort, but it just was not enough. It was just not enough. He didn't show enough that he showed in the regular season in this bowl game. RB shut him down, shut that passing attack down, turnover after turnover, and it led to a blowout 48-14. RB scoring 35 in the second quarter. It was pretty bad.
A rough one for sure. One that I was excited about before, and I actually was not sure how this game was going to go. I felt like it was going to lean more to being a defensive struggle, and clearly it was not. Just the first quarter alone, Virginia Tech and South Florida, the Military Bowl. It took a very strong quarter, fourth quarter, Virginia Tech winning that 22-7, and that led them to the win 45-38. So coming back in the fourth quarter, South Florida had a really good offensive showing against Virginia Tech. That I thought that Chase would be able to slow Kane down some. Not saying that he would stop him, but I felt like it would be more of a defensive battle. And man, E. Kane was ready. That offense was flowing. Just the fourth quarter was not able to hold on and lost it there, but still a hell of a showing. I didn't have 83 points on my bingo card, but still a really entertaining game to watch.
Well, at least it wasn't 100. the next game that I felt pleasing in watching was Rice and Arkansas State. Now, Coach D Ward came on late mid-season and got a winning record with the Rice Owls, and definitely showed that he can go toe to toe with a very good coach and dealer. They went back and forth all game. Tie score at half. Rice went up. Arkansas State tried to come back, but it was too little too late. 35-31 was the final score there. Be on the lookout for D Ward. He could make some noise next season.
Yeah,
He may not be a Power Four team in the draft. He may be a high G5 team, but no matter which way he goes, look out for him.
yeah, that's still a huge upgrade, and that having a better team, more talent, it opens up more possibilities. So just a step in the right direction to getting, ultimately getting to a place that he can be happy to call home. A good season for him for sure. One game I do want to highlight. Um, of course, I just said that Jordan earlier would be the, the up and coming coach of the year on for me. So why would I not pick his bowl game? Plays against Ninja Nano, and man, 30 points in the first half, but more importantly, shutting down the Cajuns in the second half. No points. Ends up winning 40-21, wins the second half 10-0. And yeah, defense leading the way. Six turnovers. And I would like to think that quite a few of them came in the second half with no points for Louisiana. I'm a big Ninja Nano fan. He's had a good season as well, but impressive win for Ohio to close out this campaign.
Definitely an impressive win by Ohio. He's another one to watch. I've played him in some scrimmages. He's definitely a good player as well. A lot of good talent overall. Just to speak on the G5, like I've quoted on it a few times in a couple of our shows. The G5 class this season, top to bottom, one of the best like class of coaches there is when it comes to the G5. Like no lead, no team was really just beatable, just ultimately beatable unless you had, like a Texas or somebody. But if you had a middling or mid power four team or a G5 team, it was a dogfight week in and week out.
Yeah, some really fun watches. Really
Definitely.
fun watches.
A couple bowls I want to touch on. So happy for Jeff Daddy and Beer Cop making bowls. Uh, but they were defeated in those bowls by the more talented teams. So that was expected there. Another another game I want to highlight is Charlotte and Wake. That game was 42-37. Wake kind of pulled away late, but Coach Shotty Mack and the 49ers definitely left some stuff on the table in that third quarter. Couple of swing possessions. They could have got a score or could have got a field goal or touchdown that they didn't get or didn't capitalize on. Was the difference in this game?
I am going to add something, but I just have to say this is really depressing for some IRL football. Man, if you're a Wisconsin fan, I apologize. Like, I know I joke around about how pitiful Iowa's offense is. What is going on with Wisconsin? They're about to get they look like they're about to get shut out again. Three shutouts
I'm
in a
I'm
row.
I'm going I'm going I'm going to say this, and I said this. I can screenshot it on you. I made this comment on YouTube about a certain team that's of the ilk of Wisconsin. But I'm going to say this about Wisconsin: they're never going to get back those J.J. Watt, Ron Dane years. They're never going to go back to that. I said the same thing, and I can. If anybody wants to send me a message or whatever, I can send a screenshot of me saying that about Michigan State, and you can see how they've been doing IRL. I said the exact same thing. They're not going to get to that early 2010s Michigan State anymore. I don't care about NIL. I don't care about transfer portal. I don't care about any of that. Those two teams, they reached a peak during those times. Wisconsin had a longer peak than Michigan State, but they've reached their peak. It's not going to happen anymore. I don't care who the coach is. I don't care what style. It's not going to happen. Big Ten is way too competitive, and the fact that you got Indiana putting belt the ass to everybody out of nowhere because they got a Sun Belt coach, you missed the train. If you're Wisconsin, you Michigan State, you missed the hire. You missed the train. It's gonna take a while. If they do go back to what they were, it's gonna take a long while. But they're not coming back.
I'm just sad they're not on Nebraska's schedule. I mean, yeah, they played Michigan State, but I need Wisconsin on there too. Like we're trying to get freed up,
I feel you. I feel you
but
on that.
it's okay. A couple other bowls I want to touch on real quick. Yours, since I know you're not going to mention it. You said
Not
at
at
least
all.
you didn't give up 100 points. Yeah, you guys gave up 109. West Virginia against Memphis. Good Lord, just points everywhere. And the difference in the game is really Joker's couldn't get a touchdown in the fourth quarter. He was up 21-3, and man, I always talk about the middle half being dangerous, 37 to 28, and then the fourth quarter and just the offense is ridiculous. Over 1,200 yards of offense. Insane. One turnover. That is insane. That had to be stressful to play. Hell, it's stressful to watch. That's
I
ridiculous.
don't. Of course, as you say, I don't like to talk about myself, but I will give insight on that. That one turnover was a key third down for him to kind of clinch the game, and he threw it, and I picked it off and scored to take the not take the lead, but come close. I was like 2, maybe 3 points off. Got another stop, and then clutched it out with like a minute to go.
Yeah, stressful. A couple
It
others.
was. It
Uh,
was. It was.
Jacksonville State and Georgia State. Georgia State wins the fourth quarter 20-7, having to come from behind, and they lose though by 1 point. So coming from behind, and then Jacksonville State closing the door at the end. So they're able to add a nice feather in the cap to their season. We've got the Western Michigan Boise State game was on BBB. I actually just got to see the finish to this game earlier today because I was out at lunch with IROC and some friends, and I had saw most of the game, but I was in between flights and the plane Wi-Fi was acting kind of goofy, so I knew that he won, but I didn't get to see the finish. And yeah, you gotta love those stressful finishes at the end. Or it's like, all right, you give up a score late, it's less than a minute to go. What can you do? And you just chuck it deep and pulling a Brett Favre and catching it in double coverage. Like, yeah, all right, let's go. And
I
scoring with
will say.
just a couple seconds left. A crazy finish to that game. The timeout usage was, we'll say, interesting for the finish for that game.
I will say this. I was in BBB and um, looking at the game, but then I got a phone call, so I couldn't look at the end of the game. But I saw the post game. Rock is definitely a fella I'm gonna have a drink with. Just real chill. Whole background was just chill. Love it. I love it. Love the chill vibe. Him, the BBB guys, yourself, RB, Pat, Smitty, Wobbles, and a few others. Freak. We can all have a drink together. It'd be some chill vibes. Very chill vibes. I love that.
NDL convention. I feel like there's a plug for that there, but I'm not ready for it because
Go ahead and
we
plug
have
it.
the
Yeah, you
dates,
can.
but I know it's in July in Tennessee, so that'll be my first trip to Tennessee. So looking forward to heading out there. I'm pretty sure we don't have exact dates for the release or an exact date for the release of NCAA college football, whatever, for the next college football game. But I'm sure it'll be around that time. So that'll be a fun time for sure. Getting to put a face and personality to the screen name would be good
Depending
stuff.
on depending on some real life stuff, uh, I'll be there.
I know I will because I need any excuse not to go to work. I need reasons to I
I mean,
need reasons to
I
use
can
my
no the
vacation.
work the work part is not the stuff. It's like
Oh, I know.
whole situation with I can lean into it a little bit. Whole situation with my girlfriend and stuff like that. We're thinking about moving in together, and that would probably be the time is in the summer. So, depending on what happens with that, if it goes one way, I'll definitely be there. If it goes the other way, I would have unfortunately have to miss it.
Good reason to miss that. Um, man, there's one other game. Two, real quick. Tulsa losing to Jaguars 17-10. Uh, man, really quiet game. 21 points in the first quarter and six total points from that. point on for the rest of the game. But it was a 7 point game. It was close the whole way. Just a defensive struggle, which let's be honest, we don't get to see a ton of on this football game. So any of those I enjoy because clearly I enjoy watching teams not score. I was watching Buffalo and Akron earlier today. 3-2 is so ridiculous. Oh my God.
That's a
Like,
sicko game.
and then
That's
watching Iowa play. So, like, clearly I am fine with
Iowa with
teams
like
not.
34 points again.
We don't have to talk about it. They're our
Oh my
rival.
god.
They're our rival. They want the
I
betting
was for
split.
sure it killed my parlay for the 230 games because I had the under at 42.5 because I gave him some leeway from last week. No way, it's Iowa and Minnesota. It's not gonna happen. Next thing you know, it's 31-3. What in the world? Iowa with the offensive explosion.
Something's going on. And then the last game, which is clearly the one that we should highlight last, because it's the one that we were most excited about. Of course,
Indeed.
as I've been doing all season, I've been losing, and would why would I not lose this too, right?
Ah,
The Outlier Bowl, our alma maters, Louisiana Tech steals a win against San Diego State, 45-42.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Love it. I didn't get to watch it because it was played at like midnight on a weekday, but saw the result that morning and had a smile on my face for the rest of the day.
Not gonna lie, when I saw the
Definitely.
score, I rolled my eyes like, of course. That was my immediate reaction. Like Big Z's a cool dude, and I know he'll be staying there, and wish well for him next season. But I really wanted him to win that game, so I was a little sad that he lost. But hey, Aztecs for life. We don't care. Go Aztecs.
Oh no. Shout out to the Aztecs, man. There's no beef. No beef at all. If I had a retirement place that I would call home,
Oh
it
my
would
God,
be San Diego.
it is
It
the
definitely
best
would be
city
San
in the world.
Diego.
The best
Man,
city
oh
in the
man.
world.
So it's definitely no beef with the whole city of San Diego. I have nothing but love for that city.
Well,
Nothing but love at all. I will say this. This is a fun fact, but not really. Speaking of sicko games, the night game that's going to close out today, FBS wise, is definitely a sicko watch because Devin Dampier is out for Utah. And true freshman Bird Ficklin is starting. Definitely about to tune into this.
so what you're saying is, yeah, I should have that on in the background. Got
Oh, I'm gonna have it on as soon as this LSU Texas A&M game is on.
it. Well, something else that I wanted to touch on before we like fully end this um, episode. So this, I guess, technically is our last episode of season 33. So this,
I mean, yeah, it really is, though. It really is.
yeah. So want to say thanks for everyone that's tuned in. Thanks to anyone that's given feedback. Thanks to anyone who's been a guest on the show this season. I know from my perspective, I haven't really talked about it much in chat. There's been a lot of stuff going on with my dad's health. So it's made this season a very awkward thing because I've had to miss time at work and I don't regret that. Family first. I'm a big family guy and it's caused me to not be able to commit time to a lot of other things because of what's going on with his health. It looks to be better and still have my fingers crossed. But if that is the case, we will be back on schedule for being on every week. Next season. Definitely looking forward to it. next week we will be on. We will have a pre-draft episode, which will be kind of nice because hey, it aligns with our day on Friday. So we will be able
Facts.
to look at the draft list and
And we close out the draft
yeah, we're
on
gonna be on
Saturday.
Saturday night as well too. So game day is we're gonna have a live, basically a live show covering the draft. Game day is gonna take the first leg, and me and Vic will take the remainder. So I'll be looking at that draft list, and I'll probably be reaching out to a couple of guys that would be picking around. Hey, we're the G5 podcast, right? We're probably gonna cover a lot of G5 picks, so we'll do our research and hopefully be able to get
Definitely.
some picks live on, live and get some feedback on those picks as well, maybe a couple of coach interviews, and it'll be great. So for everyone that's been kind of like, man, there's nothing going on, just give it another week. Just give it another week.
Definitely.
Once the
Definitely
draft
looking
gets going,
forward.
the hype will be right back up. There's some great stuff coming for you guys next season.
Definitely looking forward to all of that. Definitely looking forward to the pre-draft. That's going to be fun. That's exciting times. Definitely looking forward to because we go by the time that we air, most of everybody's going to have their decision. So we're going to be, we could break some news there in the pod as well. Pre-draft and closing out the draft. That's going to be fun. The last few picks are always fun. Last like 30 picks are always fun. You never know what you get.
Hmm.
And also to a certain coach in Dallas, there is no more beef. I'm formally squashing the beef right there, right now.
You're so lucky I don't have my stream deck set up because if I did, I'd have the clap sound. I would have played it right now. I'm glad for that. That's good. That is good to hear.
No
So,
more beef. No more ill will. You can unblock me. No more any of that. No more hatred or anything like that.
all right. Well, the last thing that will close out on is this has been a great season. I want to give a special shout out to the Mac because as someone who's been in the NDL for a long time, it has sucked to watch the Mac pretty much be like I want to say the farm extended with people quitting and new coaches coming in a lot. And it was really fun following the Mac the whole season. I mean, I love the Mountain West. Got some great coaches there. But the MAC has been really cool this season, having so many teams be successful, having a great group of coaches from top to bottom, and a lot of the games that were fun to watch. If I had to rank a top 20, a lot of them are going to come from MAC conference games. They were a great conference to watch, and a lot of their coaches fun in chat as well. So kudos to you guys. We're looking forward to talking about the draft order next week. And yeah, me and Vic are ready Saturday to do a lot of NDL stuff, looking at the afternoon, the maybe the back end of day one and all of day two. And hey, let's see who will be the next outlier in season 34.
Definitely. I'll see you guys next week.